And welcome into the Friday edition, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you, live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Hope everybody's off to a wonderful start on this Friday morning. Joe Rexrode, good morning. How are you? What's going on?
Joey Two Screens, checking in for work, clocking in.
Wow, the two screens are back. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I gotta, still need to figure out. I mean, Ian told me what to do, but I just still have to do it with the, with the video and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
Cool. Do the listeners care? Probably not.
That's all right. Sometimes we just got to do it.
Yeah,
probably
we'd
not.
like to tell you about our technical issues.
Ian Safar, how we doing? What's going on?
Good morning. Yeah, Robbie and I were pondering how that might go this morning. So good to see you made it on time, Joe. But doing good. Stayed up. Oh, I don't know. I did not finish the entire Thursday night football game. I did watch a little bit of the second half of Purdue versus Alabama, Joe, which I guess you missed.
Yeah. I was actually. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. That I was sad, whimpering, and watching stat broadcasts, just watching the stats in real time to follow the game.
Oh, you down bad.
Like the last 5 minutes of the game, I was just like following it on stat broadcast. Like,
and there was
Purdue steal, Alabama missed shot, Purdue defensive rebound. Like
and there was a video review in there that took a hot minute at one point.
Yes, but it's a pretty big win for the Boilers, I must say.
Big
and
stuff.
I stayed up for the whole football game too, by the way. Which
I did not for that.
I stayed up for most of it.
Wasn't very good.
Yeah, it was not. I mean, it's the Thursday night football game, but yeah, we were wondering, with one screen for Joe, whether or not the show was going to happen today for Joe. So I'm glad he's on. He found his way in there. It's good stuff.
We're getting there.
We would have had to call Kuharski, our IT guy, get something figured out at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Have him drive over here and help me.
I'm sure he would have loved that. The Patriots do win last night, 27-14, the final score. They improved to 9-2. Drake made 25 of 34, 281 yards, 1 touchdown. Travion Henderson, 3 touchdowns last night, 2 on the ground and 1 through the air. So a big night for the rookie running back. And again, a game where the Jets did muster up over 100 yards of passing this time, so that's good. They weren't at 65 like they were last week, but it was 15 of 26 for Justin Fields, 116 yards, 1 touchdown. A couple amazing things about the Jets that I didn't really know last night. Number one, apparently they just barely can complete a forward pass. Number two, there's a stat at one point last night where the Jets, I guess, have forced 1 turnover the whole year.
Yeah, that's turnover. Incredible. That's seriously, and they have defensive talent.
Or at least they did.
Well, that's true. That is true. Yes, they've had defensive talent for a lot of this year. They have a coach who, he's a defensive coordinator. He's a guy who forced turnovers as a player and as a defensive. I mean, that is so hard to do. I don't know how you could even the Titans could not pull that off in any of these teams in recent years.
I'm starting to wonder, is Aaron Glenn going to be one and done with the Jets? Most teams I wouldn't wonder about that but it is the Jets. And they're just they're so bad. They're so bad. And I understand that Justin Fields is their quarterback. So, I mean, what do we really expect to happen with Justin Fields as their quarterback? But when you're that bad defensively with the guys that they have had, I do wonder what that looks like at the end of the year.
The reporting has said no, for sure. So, I mean, now granted, we've seen that happen here too. But internally it's been, that's part of selling off and everything is this season is not on him. I don't think it should be. I agree that stat is insane. But I mean, yeah, there was I don't know who it is. I don't even know this guy, but it was tweeted last night, this local, New York, Jets pregame, postgame thing. Yeah. And this guy who's a former player, just completely melted down. Basically was he's not an NFL quarterback. You can't get mad at these players. Justin Fields is not an NFL quarterback. This has to end, so, and it's it just takes too long. Everything takes too long with him, And he'll make some. I mean, he'll make some plays. I mean, his ability to elude rush and just it's incredible. But it's just it's not happening.
No, he did have 67 yards running last night, so good for him on that front. But they're a tough watch, man. As somebody who watches the Titans every week, who knows what a tough watch looks like. The New York Jets on the offensive side of the ball are a tough watch. I'm just telling you, it's bad.
Yeah, we know tough watches.
Yeah, yeah, we do.
We can assess tough watches. No, they're tough. Yeah, that first drive, really nice drive. But you kind of had the feeling. I mean, even if after that drive, it's like they weren't even that happy. It was like, this is probably the best thing we'll do all night.
Yeah.
And Drake May is he's not perfect. I think sometimes he needs to rip passes, and he throws a lot of touch passes.
Yes.
But man, he is he stands in there and sees the field, and he's pretty freaking good.
How about Diggs? Like Diggs last night with 9 catches, 105 yards on the year. He's at 59 catches, 659 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like he's going to end up again, Joe, with somewhere around 90 catches and probably a little bit over 1,000 yards, where everybody thought he may be done. Like he's pretty good story on the Diggs front of number one, I guess behaving himself, and number two, being pretty productive in New England to this point.
Yeah, he's had a good bounce back. I mean, I think this is where, as I hesitate to bring up he who shall not be named, but I think this is where sometimes he can be effective. With guys like that, and so he's got him going, playing better than he has been for a while. Now they've figured out. I mean, it was very disappointing with Travion Henderson early in the season. And then Stevenson gets hurt, but then last night he has has a great game, 3 touchdowns. I mean, that offensive line, the Titans did get a mention in this game, by the way. They got
I'm sure they did.
A little love. Yeah, because they were talking about how Drake May has been sacked 31 times, second most in the NFL. Number 1, Cam Ward, the Titans, of course. But I thought the protection was pretty good. And, Hollins, Hunter Henry. I mean, I look at that team and I'm like, they have the best record in the NFL right now. I don't think they're going to make a Super Bowl run. I don't feel like they have quite enough. That's probably one thing they need, right? Is a legit, what if you give Drake May one of these young receivers, a legit one with everything else they have. Their D is
it's pretty good.
Good. Yeah, they're a good, solid all around team. It's to me, if they win a playoff game this year, that's a good outcome. It's just still hard for me, just like with the Colts too, to really buy contender. But maybe I'm giving too much credit to these teams that are in there every year, some of which aren't playing as well this year.
I mean, right now, as you said, they're the number 1 seed in the AFC. If they win a playoff game, they'll be in the title game. If it goes that way.
That is true. Yeah, that's true. Right at this moment, if they won one, then they got one more to get to the bowl. I guess I feel like there's gonna be some reality here, and also if they end up a game short. I mean, I understand it's the NFL, but if they end up a game short and it's the Raiders and Panthers at home that cost them, man. But that's a team that has gotten better for sure during the year, which again may have something to do with with coaching. Sorry to bring it up.
What do we make of the uniforms the Patriots wore last night? The nor'easter uniforms.
That is stupid. What the hell does that mean?
I don't know.
The north. So it's named after a windstorm.
I guess
the nor'easter.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Herb Street and Al Michaels loved them. They loved them.
Oh my god,
they did.
It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for them, both of them. Yeah, it's can we just, they have cool uniforms. Now, when they wear the 80s awesome Patriots uniform, that Steve Grogan wore, then that's okay. I'm down with that. Throwbacks, cool, but what? The nor'easter. So now you're making your fans buy these stupid light gray people are like, oh, what is that? Is that is that Eastern Connecticut Tech's uniform? Who is that?
I don't know.
Stupid.
I will say I saw the Broncos were on, I guess it was 2 weeks ago at this point, where they had their their throwbacks on with the blue helmets and just the great look that we all know why they ever
Awesome.
wear anything else is just so far beyond me. Like it's one of the best looks in professional sports. And then they trot out these new jerseys that they put on, and they're not like horrific or anything, but I don't know why they ever wear anything else other than their throwbacks.
It's actually criminal. Like the Patriots. I mean, when the Patriots probably changed to their uniforms in like the mid '90s from the awesome uniforms. Why ever do it?
I don't know.
Like look at these franchises that have stayed, like the Steelers and the Dolphins. I mean, the Jets. They've all basically kept their uniforms. The Eagles ever getting away from the Kelly green uniforms with the silver. Why did you ever do that? It's like the Raiders have never changed. Good for them. Why would you? You have awesome uniforms. The Chargers old uniforms. Why would you ever change away from those? I'm trying to go through the league here. There's another team too the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Like the Seahawks, like you said, the Broncos, like these
I even like
uniforms
the
are
Giants
awesome.
old ones that have like just the Giants
on the
written
side,
on the side of the helmet.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah, like the LT. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, why mess with that when you have something that's like iconic? I mean, again, like the Cowboys haven't changed. There's little subtle differences with some of these uniforms, but for the most part, these franchises, yeah, the Broncos ever changing. I'm trying. When did they change? I guess that would have been.
It would have been in the '90s.
And then for some reason in the freaking '90s, like the Detroit Pistons went to this teal crap, and and it's like, what are you doing? Like, you guys won championships in these classic red, white, and blue block letters, and now you're trying to put a horse on your crap with teal. Like, how many drugs were people doing at this time? It's just insane to me.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. We are off and running on Robby and Rexrode this morning. The Titans and the Texans coming up this weekend. A new starting quarterback that the Titans will have to face this week, and it's my guy, Davis Mills. We'll get into that, get into some injury news for the Titans, all that coming up. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Titans taking on the Houston Texans this weekend here in Nashville. Coming off the bye week, Titans are well rested, ready to go against the Houston Texans, who will again be without starting quarterback C.J. Stroud. He is out with the concussion, and he has been ruled out of this game, which means our guy, Davis Mills, starting at quarterback again for the Houston Texans coming into this week. Now, Davis Mills, this past week, Joe, against Jacksonville, 27 of 45, 292 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Pretty good game from our man Davis Mills this past week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He will be going up against a Titans defense, Joe, that maybe, looks like probably will have Jeffrey Simmons back. Simmons been dealing with a hamstring injury. He's a limited participant yesterday. It looks like he's going to be able to go on Sunday. So obviously getting Simmons back in there on Sunday would be a big deal for this Titans defense. By the way, Calvin Ridley has been a limited participant the last couple of days of practice as well. So good to see on that front too. Joe, what do you make of the Davis Mills-led Houston Texans coming in here against a Titans defense that looks like Simmons could be back in the fold?
You've had a lot of fun with David Mills over the years.
Davis.
And his.
Let's get it right. Davis.
Did I just say David Mills?
I don't know who David is.
Sorry.
That's my guy.
I'm trying
Let's
to
get
talk
his name right.
I was about to say, I'm trying to say something about respecting Davis Mills, and I called him David Mills. But he's not bad, man. He's not bad. It's actually a pretty good backup. And I don't think it's like there would be any sort of a QB like controversy, but like you could argue that like things maybe looked a little better there with him than they have for decent stretches this year with C.J. Stroud at quarterback. I mean, nice. I didn't even mean to do that. Pun not intended. But and would you look at that and say better opportunity for the Titans to win? I guess. But again, like we've talked before about like, who are the top backups, and we probably mentioned him just so you could make a neck joke. But is he not one of the top, I don't know, 5 to 7 backups in the NFL?
He's pretty good, man. I mean, is he better than Mason Rudolph? You said he was top 5 last year. I don't know.
I did not say he was top 5. I said he was top.
I think you did.
I immediately corrected myself. Don't go stilly on me here. I was like, okay, or maybe top 10 or whatever. I mean, and I was probably wrong about that.
Top 32 backup in the NFL.
Yeah, he's definitely top 25. I think it's you have the sort of take a flyer on a QB. What was he, a 3rd or 4th round pick?
I believe he was a 3rd, but I will double check that. Yeah, he's 3rd round. 67, like early rounder. 3rd.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's almost like the Levis thing, but not quite. But then it's the difference is okay. Then you go get your guy at the top of the draft, and you got a young guy, and so now you've got yourself a potential long-term backup too. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen with Levis and the Titans, but I'm just saying sometimes that can work out pretty well for you. To have a young guy like that. So meanwhile, Simmons has made it. He's kind of telling everybody he's playing. He's
gonna play. Yeah, I mean,
Mike McCoy can't just. Mike McCoy's up there just like, I don't know. I mean, he like cast doubt on it with his presser, which I'm sure really was enjoyed by PK.
Sure it was.
But it's like, and again, I'm not expecting him to like speak for the player, right? But it's okay sometimes to be like, yeah, it's looking pretty good, or we'll see. It seems like it's 100% on Simmons' part that he's playing.
Give your fans reason to show up to the game. I mean, good grief.
Guys, I still don't know.
I think our best player might play.
On Fridays, I just don't know, guys. He's like, not even on the injury list. Yeah, I'm not sure. Thank you.
I mean, as far as does it help the Titans with their chance to win? I mean, the last time they played the Texans, they put up 0 points. So we'll see. Yeah, I mean, they did get shut out the last time. I'm going to guess they don't get shut out this time against the Houston Texans, although you continue to look at that matchup on the edge, right? And Titans players have talked about that this week. Like Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, that's a pretty tough duo to contend with. And they didn't like completely take over the game the last time they played each other to the degree, I guess, that we thought they would. But, I mean, I still think that, they got in the backfield a couple of times. They got some pressures. And again, the Titans offense scored 0 points the last time they played the Texans. So we'll see what that looks like offensively on Sunday.
Yeah, they scored 0 points, but like in a lot of games, they had drives that between the 20s at least did something. I mean, I'm sure there's a stat for this, and if someone knows it, let me know. There's like the success rate stats and stuff like that. The Titans, and I don't know that it's not even red zone, but it's like they so often, it's like they get to about the 40-35 and start just totally screwing it up. They moved the ball some of that game, and again, that game was just a complete ugly game overall, but still a close game well into it, right? And then it just completely fell apart, I think late third, early fourth for the Titans. But yeah, I think they'll score points. And this is one of those, if you want to really talk about tracking progress, like here's a chance because you just can't help Mandor and Latham every play. So you have to make choices, and you're probably going to have the back end a lot. You're going to chip with the tight end and things like that. But this is a chance for, I think, especially for Latham. Can you be trusted on your side at times to give decent protection, to give your QB a chance, so Mandor can get a little extra, security lock over there. And show some progress.
Well, Ed says you got to break out the WD-40 on the Mandor hinges. Got to get the WD-40 ready to go this weekend.
Doesn't that mean it swings open?
Yeah, you don't want them hinges moving very well.
Yeah, I think
we need to lock them up.
A light wind just blows the door wide open.
I think maybe a little rust might be good. Just hold it in place there for a couple seconds. I don't know.
By the way, I'm so proud of our listeners. I mean, Liam McLeod on the text line says it's not a stretch to say that Davis Mills head and shoulders above most of the backups in the league. Corey says, hey, Robbie, I know it's a stretch and it might be reaching, but the Titans may pull this one off. I love our listeners so much.
There we go. Yes. They're better than us at puns.
Let me tell you this. I'm glad
we're
Davis Mills
just
is playing.
Setting them up.
I need something else to watch in this game, and I will thoroughly enjoy just every time he's taking a snap at the line of scrimmage. Man, look at the neck on that guy. It's unbelievable.
I mean, it really is.
You're not going to have to worry about Titans batting down any passes at the line of scrimmage this week. That guy sees over everything.
Well, and not only is the neck extremely long, like the Adam's apple's huge too.
Yeah.
I kind of like, I worry for him, like if he takes a shot in there, like what would that mean? I mean, it's such a huge target, but yeah, he really is like, he could possibly be like a Guinness Book of World Records guy or something.
Measuring cheek size.
Do we think that Dan Moore is aware of the Mandor nickname that you've given him?
I mean, I have no idea. I hope not. I mean, I truly hope that that Dan Moore is a guy who does not pay attention to media. I mean, it must have been in Pittsburgh, it must have been not easy. I mean, that's a demanding market,
Yeah.
So I hope he doesn't know. I'm sure Cars will go to him one day. Put a camera in his face.
Are you open? Oh, partially open.
By the way, one texter says you said Rudolph was a top 3 backup last year. My goodness.
I think I was like top 3, top 5, top 10. That was like in the same sentence.
Oh, I think I think you went declaratively top 5. We're gonna go with that.
Well, we have the audio. I mean, I think didn't we play the audio to rebuke Stille because he was. Yeah.
Where's Marcus?
Whatever.
Is he top 10?
Mark. Oh, absolutely. Okay. You don't think so?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'd have to look at all the backup quarterbacks. He's not better than Davis Mills. I know that.
I mean, he actually played pretty well, man. He played pretty well against the Lions. Their defense never stopped the Lions, but I mean, what they scored 22. I mean, it's not bad. I thought he actually looked pretty good. Yeah, I give him top 10.
615.
I'd put him ahead of Mason Rudolph. Okay, how about that?
615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025. We'll get into Cam Ward and one thing about him that we really, really like coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Mason Rudolph could be the third best backup in the NFL. Am I crazy? Is that a hot take? I'm not saying he is, but I'm saying after those two, I could put him there with Dalton. I know Dalton has done a lot, but Dalton is a lot older than Mason Rudolph.
Well, see, like the thing with you saying that is like Gardner Minshew, I think, is probably better than Mason Rudolph, but he's a starter now. Like he's probably shouldn't be a starter, but he is a starter. So like,
and the fact that he's starting means I'm not putting Aiden O'Connell over
right,
Mason Rudolph.
Exactly. There it is. Rexrode loves Mason Rudolph.
You didn't. You got to keep playing it. I talked myself out of it. I swear.
I couldn't find all. I didn't have time to find all of it.
That doesn't exist.
Oh, how convenient! Couldn't have. I had to stop.
The break's only so long, Rexrode. Only so long.
Wow. Well, if you guys are, if there's going to be an all-out attack, then why can't we do this? Go through this during the pre-show meeting when Izzo is just screaming at people. Man, did you see him yesterday?
No. Is he mad?
Oh man. Oh,
we had a love fest. We all kind of gathered around. We hugged each other.
No hugging going on yesterday?
I should find so if you remember when we had him on, if you remember, I asked him who is who's the most important or no, not most important. Who is the most annoying reporter? And it was one of my buddies, Chris Solari, who replaced me at the Detroit Free Press on the beat. And last night, Solari asked him like this question about being demanded. Oh, it was great, man. Good. I'll see if I can find it.
Please do.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is one of these things. If there's going to be an attack on me, then then
I'll work on it some more. Don't worry.
Of course, now I'm like, maybe I'm wrong, and I'm going to look even dumber now.
It's like third best. He's the best backup quarterback in the league. Who knows?
I'm the starter.
I mean, maybe he is. Like we talk about being lionized. Like sometimes you just come here and things don't work. Maybe he's back to being a good backup quarterback in Pittsburgh.
Well, the thing is, like, I mean, as bad as they were last year, I mean, he did have a couple decent games, didn't he?
Yeah.
Am I misremembering
I don't
that?
think so.
I'm not really sure he did.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. Fine. He sucks.
They did win a game where he basically played the whole time in Miami.
That's right.
Levis got hurt in like the second series or whatever it was.
And speaking of shouting out the listeners, Ed has the best list of best long neck QBs, and this makes a second Steve Grogan reference in the first hour of the show.
Pretty
he has
good.
Steve Grogan number one. I'm gonna have to. I don't remember that. I mean, I remember Steve Grogan. I don't remember the neck, but he has Steve Grogan one, then Davis Mills, then Mike Glennon, then Brock Osweiler, and you of course throw in honorable mention. Tannehill did have a very nice neck.
Well, the picture that they've used of Tannehill on the Pro Football Reference page really doesn't do him any favors. And his neck looks enormous on that.
Really
page
accentuates
there.
it.
Yeah, it really does.
Really,
so
yeah.
I don't. Maybe it's the angle. I don't know, but definitely honorable mention on that front.
Hey! Speaking of Tannehill, did you see the graphic they had last night? By the way, on the game. I mean, I think we may have talked about this before, but I don't know why they were even. I guess they were talking about Aaron Rodgers, but anyway, they had the top 5 quarterback ratings of all time in NFL history, and it was like, I think it was like Rodgers, and then third was like Peyton Manning, and then it was like, fifth was Tannehill. Oh yeah, fourth was Nick Foles in 2013. Okay. And then fifth was Tannehill's 2019 season. Okay. NFL history, again, your top 3 are names you would totally expect, and then you go Foles and Tannehill.
And I would even argue that there's probably, I know that Foles won a Super Bowl, but like throughout the entirety of their careers, there's probably a difference between Tannehill and Foles as well, right? Like we all know Tannehill's not Rodgers.
Yeah.
But man, that's impressive.
Well, although I will say, like in the early, there was a stretch there, and obviously in 2013. But like when Foles was looking like he was going to be a star, and then kind of wheels came off. Wentz comes in, then he comes in and wins the Super Bowl. But it is for anybody who, I don't want to start this argument again, but for anybody who wants to say the Titans could not have won a Super Bowl with Ryan Tannehill, you're crazy. I mean, they almost overcame his 3 picks. I mean, he totally botched it, but they absolutely could have won a Super Bowl with Ryan Tannehill, and that's the whole point here, is to win a Super Bowl, not to have a franchise quarterback. So, whoever your quarterback is, build a great team around him. See how far you can go.
Speaking of Titans quarterbacks, Cam Ward earlier this week, talking about a play, Joe, that we have talked about a lot than the last time they played against the Chargers, where he's rolling out. He's got Van Jefferson wide open over the middle of the field. And if you kind of freeze frame it, you look at his feet, and like the right foot is pointing to the right sideline, the left foot is pointing to the left sideline, and he throws the ball, and it ends up being like 2 yards short of Van Jefferson when there's no one around Cam Ward and there's no one around Van Jefferson on the play. And Ward was asked about that. And I will say something about him that I like. Here's what Cam Ward had to say about that earlier this week.
The game before the bye, just missing the easy throw to Van. That's really the easiest play that I could think of. And just on me. Protection was great. Van ran a good route, but I just got to come through for those guys. So just really self-scouting myself and just really staying within the pocket and not leaving if I don't have to.
So that was Cam Ward earlier this week. You know, the guy, I will say, and Kuharski's talked about this. What does this ultimately mean when it comes to whether or not he's going to be a good quarterback? I don't know. It at least tells me that he's got like a realistic view of what he's doing out there and where he needs to get better. And to me, that can only be a good thing, Joe. But like he seems to be able pretty quickly and honestly to identify mistakes or flaws in his game. And then ultimately it's about fixing those and whether or not he can do that at a high enough level. But I like that my quarterback is living in reality if I'm a Titans fan and not making excuses out there.
Yeah, I really do. I think it's a really good sign. Again, it doesn't guarantee anything when it comes to performance, but he will directly take on mistakes. And there, there's a lot of quarterbacks, and it's not like it's a big problem, but even when on certain play, I mean, I'll go back Tannehill. He could be like this sometimes. My gosh, now I'm thinking of the Tannehill presser after the Cincinnati game, and it was disappointing because, I mean, it's not nearly, I mean, in the big picture, the disappointment is the 3 picks and the loss for a team that was the number 1 seed that only needed to beat the Bengals at home to play the Chiefs at home to get to the Super Bowl. Excuse me. But his, his answers and then his not unwillingness to show up then on move up day, it was just it was a bad follow-up to that performance. And other times too, he kind of really wouldn't talk. And I know, look, a lot of times quarterbacks are like, it might have been the receiver's fault. And so you're not going to call them out, which is good. You shouldn't. Marcus. Well, yeah. Mariota was like almost Ryan O'Reilly-ish in like, no matter what happened, he's like, well, I just have to be better.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, but what happened in the play? Well, I did. It's just my fault. Well, what? No, we all saw that it actually wasn't your fault. Tell us what happened. He won't tell us. See, with Cam, I like one, he directly talks about plays and brings them up himself.
Yeah. And
says, I screwed this up. Because we all saw that play. It was like, how do you, like, dude, that's a big play. That's easy. You could have arm punted that to him. And so I like that he calls out. You don't like the play. You need to figure out the mechanics and all that. But I like that. And I also like how, he doesn't, throw teammates under the bus, but he will get after them. That's what you do. To me, it's like you and as a rookie, you have to be sure. You kind of have to be careful because you're a rookie, but he has, especially with the other rookies, he gets all over those guys if they do something wrong, but then he won't do it publicly. And then he's not afraid even to like yell at McCoy and be like, Mike, let's go for it. I don't think he crossed the line, but I like, he yelled at him, which is like, dude, let's go for it. And he was right. It was ridiculous what Mike McCoy chose to do at that point, to the point that Mike McCoy has apologized publicly how many times for it. I mean, It's just like, but I think the combo of how he is out there, this is what you hear from people too. And when you hear it enough, and then it's not just BS like coach speak, player speak. And then I like how he takes it on, publicly when he's up at the podium and has a little fun with it, doing the play call thing. I think everything about that is good and encouraging. Now it's just a matter of, 1, him improving, and 2, you improving around him.
Yes. I mean, like I said, the quarterback living in reality with the way that he's playing is a good thing. Like being honest with what the film tells you is going on out there. And look, we've talked about the footwork thing a lot. I don't know how much better throughout the course of a season the footwork is going to get. I mean, it can improve some, but I mean, you're going through practice every week, you're going over game plans, and then you're playing football. Like, the footwork is going to have to be a thing in the off season, Joe, that he just constantly works on, right? Like, it's going to have to be a months long, probably years long process to perfect your footwork. I mean, there doesn't need to be another play as he moves on in his career where you've got both of your feet pointing in opposite directions when there's no duress on you in the pocket and there's no one around your wide receiver. Like, we all understand that. So, but I just don't know how much better that's going to get now when you're in the thick of things and you're going through practice, getting ready for games as a team, and you're not spending hours upon hours every day out on the field working on your footwork. That's probably going to have to be an off-season thing. But again, the fact that he understands where the issues are and the flaws in his game, that's a good thing. Now, at the end of the season, it would be nice, to have a little bit more on tape that you feel good about, because ultimately everything we're talking about here has limitations if the play doesn't get better.
Yeah, for sure. And look, he does. It's not like he always throws it like that, or else he would have been benched weeks ago. So, I mean, he knows how to do it. It's just a matter of making it second nature and not allowing it to, like, the bad habit to creep in. Again, way easier said than done, and especially easier said than done, like, when you're facing rush. That's the thing about that play, right? Is just like, that was one of those where it's like there was just no reason for that to be the case. Richard on the YouTube chat says, as of now, about the only thing left to believe in concerning Ward is the intangibles. I don't agree with that. It hasn't been great, but you're telling me that you haven't seen anything in his physical ability or his play that gives you hope? I mean, it's not enough of it. It's not consistent enough, but I wouldn't agree.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the only thing. Now, I mean, he's got to play better. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, he's got to play a lot better than what he's played to this point. But the intangibles are a good thing, and he'll make some throws where you're like, whoo, that is pretty good stuff. Now, as the year goes on, does he get better at just consistently hitting the gimmies? I mean, that throw to Jefferson is just an absolute gimme in the NFL that you can't miss. And do you get better at that at the end of the year? Brandon on the YouTube chat says Trey is furious listening to this. Just furious.
Hopefully he's not awake yet.
Footwork
He's just going to blow
awful.
us up all day. Yeah. Zarzer told me that his foot was to the left of the right foot was to the left of the left foot.
615-737-1025, our phone number. 615-737-1025. A lot more on the Cam Ward front to get to coming up next. We'll do that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. The MTSU Blue Raiders take on Western Kentucky tomorrow at 2:30. Catch all the action on Totally Hits 93.3 with coverage also available on the Totally Hits Nashville app and at TotallyHitsNashville.com. Teron Davenport will be with us at 8 o'clock on the program today. We will get into all things Tennessee Titans with him. Titans and Texans coming up this weekend. Taking your thoughts in the meantime on Cam Ward. Andrew says, isn't footwork something he should have been working on since he took his first snap? This is from Andrew on the text line. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, just like any quarterback, like if you complete your first pass in Rocket football, why can't you just do that every time? Damn it, right? I mean, of course he's been working on footwork, but footwork is, one thing about being around the NFL. I mean, it seems like it's something with a lot of guys in this league. Again, it's just part of the technique. It's part of the whole process. But it seems like a lot of guys need work on that. Coming out of college, I don't know if not everybody, but I mean, even like Josh Allen is a famous example of one, just accuracy improving, but like there was a really good story about how all the different like mechanical things that he like went through to try to like change everything basically, which you just never see, right? Again, it's like once someone gets to like 17, 18 years old, whatever your jump shot is, like that's what your jump shot form is. That's what the muscle memory is. You've been doing it for so many years. It's hard to really change it. But like Josh Allen's an example of someone who did. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. But yeah, I mean, they work on these things, of course. But when you get in a game sometimes, a lot of that stuff that it's in practice, it's like, oh yeah, I know no one's hitting me now. I got the red jersey on. I'm just going to do this like this every time. And then you get in a game and someone's actually trying to bury you into the ground and it gets a little harder,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is when the bullets are live and you're out there on the field, and that's why I say practice time. You can practice a lot during the season, but and Cam Ward's talked about this a little bit. Like once you're out there playing, you're trying not to think, right? Like you're trying to just go out there and play. And sometimes you revert back into old habits. And it's about just over time getting those habits out of your game. And that takes a long time, and making sure that they show up in the proper way on the field where you're not having to think about it out there. And I just think that's going to take a while for Cam Ward on the footwork front. Speaking of Cam Ward, Joe, a lot of talk over the last couple of days on Twitter about drill the Titans were doing in practice. So Jimmy Wyatt put out a video of Cam Ward going through the bags. You've got the coaches with the pads on, trying to swipe at the football and get it away from him. And Cam Ward is going through footwork drills through the pads, and he ends up, throwing, a 3-yard pass kind of right in front of him there. And Sean McAvoy, who, by the way, listens to our show a lot. Appreciate Sean McAvoy, a quarterback coach out there, says, quote, really productive NFL QB drill here. Great use of practice time, trying to decide if my favorite part is the 3-yard throw at the end of the drill, or how the 4 coaches just all watch the quarterback walk through his finish and not say a thing. That made the rounds. He also said, quote, just to clarify, my issue here isn't with the quarterback's form through the drill. My issue is with the prioritization of time. It's the decision to use this specific drill, which serves little value, IMO, and not address key developmental concerns the quarterback has in limited time available. So a lot of discourse on social media about that the last couple of days. Joe, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, I'm so glad you found it, because I put this on the grid, and then I seriously I've spent the last day like trying to find this. Like I saw this, and then I forgot who the original tweet was that had the video. So thank you. And
You're
I
welcome.
wanted to see, how fans reacted to it. First of all, I think the default for a Titans fan right now when you see something like that is, oh, great, Titans are completely screwing up Cam Ward. That's just wonderful. But I think he obviously brings up fair points there, including like maybe at least like actually throw a pass at the end of it.
Yeah.
Like they actually use that as a rep to throw a pass. But it does kind of look like we got some practice time. I guess this will be a drill we go through. Here we go. Which I'm sure for a lot of teams, in mid-November, Some of these drills probably don't have the same pep that they did like in August when people are trying to make a team and, you're getting geared up for the season. But it is look, practice time is still the CBA dictates that you don't have a ton of time to work with these seasons, including in the off season. Like Cam Ward, just like all these quarterbacks, he'll go to his personal quarterback's coach. And, Brian Callahan talked last offseason. Obviously, they talked to them. The teams talk to the individual quarterbacks coaches because they have to all be on the same page. You can't have somebody going totally rogue, teaching something the opposite of what you're teaching, and then you just have a total mess on your hands. But they don't have a ton of time to work with these guys. So it's like, gosh, you'd think that you would want to maximize that. Now, maybe, a lame duck staff that's about to be fired isn't as urgent about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think you nailed it with what you said earlier. Like right now, you're looking for, like, Titans fans read that and they're like, oh, great. Of course they are. Like, the Titans are just totally screwing up Cam Ward. They're not using their time wisely trying to develop him. He's not getting any better because the Titans have this incompetent coaching staff around him. They're this incompetent organization. We'll see. I keep going back to everything around him and the Titans right now. This coaching hire is just so important. It really is. Like, they have got to figure out the right coach for Cam Ward and to get him better. Like, and part of that is obviously in-game stuff. Part of that is also the offseason, right? Like, clearly, I think we've seen enough from Ward to know, Joe, that there is a lot of improvement that's going to have to take place this offseason from year 1 to year 2. A lot. Like, it's going to have to be pretty dramatic in terms of the improvement that he makes from where he is right now to what he ultimately needs to be. And yes, some of that's what's around him, right? Like, obviously they gotta get the roster better. And if you get better receivers out there, hopefully more competent offensive line play, a better running game, all those things will help. But on his own, like, he's got to get way better than he is right now. And that's what I keep coming back to in this whole thing. Like, the Titans just feel like they're a long, long way away, and they need dramatic improvement from him from year 1 to year 2.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a lot of different things, but some of it is as simple as him. Ed says on the text lines, a number of busted QBs had underlying work ethic or attitude issues or didn't have the right makeup. For Ward, he's consistently shown he's made of the right stuff, and I agree. That's how we started this. I think he's got the right approach, mindset. I think he's a hell of a competitor. All that stuff. All that said, there's plenty of people who have all the right intangibles and can't play this position at the high enough level because it's a tiny percentage of a fraction of a percentage of people who can do this job well enough to win.
Josh Dobbs, great intangibles.
Contract.
A lot of good intangibles.
Yeah, and good enough tangibles to be in the league and be a top 12 backup or so, maybe top 8. I don't know, but not quite. It's just not quite, and it really is to me with him. I mean, the guy's a nuclear scientist. The guy moves around, makes plays. Like he's had some. Look, think about that stretch he had with the Vikings. Where he was playing out of his mind. But when it comes down to it, the ball just isn't accurate enough of the time. And it goes back to Tennessee. I mean, he probably is a Heisman winner if it is, I mean, he's that level of player in college if it is, but it's just, and that's the concern. I think with Cam, and I've been saying it forever, is he going to get to the point where that ball he's throwing strikes at a much higher rate and he's just commanding the strike zone. And again, Josh Allen happened. So the fact that he happened makes it possible for anybody, frankly, because if that dude, who I swear couldn't throw a freaking football better than I could as a 10th grader, can be what he is now, then anybody can do it.
615-737-1025. Our phone number. More coming up on the Cam Ward front. A lot of people wanting you to dive back into your top backups in the league conversation. We'll see how much we can get into that as well.
Eric from Fairview backs me up. He backed me up. Thank you, Eric, that I walked it back. So I'm going to trust him.
Didn't you say at one point Rudolph was a top 15 quarterback overall in the league? We'll have more on that coming next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Friday morning. Teron Davenport with us at 8 o'clock. We'll have Pigskin Pick'em coming up at 8:30. The Rob Rant later this hour at 7:45. All that ahead. We are live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Taking your thoughts on Cam Ward. Taking your thoughts on Rexrode's love for Mason Rudolph as backup quarterback. We have already learned and listened to the audio of him calling Rudolph a top 3 quarterback in the league last year. Let's hear now audio of Rexrode saying that he would take Mason Rudolph over Drake May. Go ahead, Ian.
The question with backup quarterback is right now you have to win a game and figure out a way to win a game with a QB. I'm absolutely going Mason Rudolph over Drake May. I think that soon enough, Drake May will be a starter, will be a better option at quarterback than Mason Rudolph. But right now, I'm not taking a rookie.
There we go. Rudolph over May. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah. Are you serious?
Of course I am.
That's 100% correct. That was Drake May before he played a snap in the NFL.
All I heard there was you say that you would take Rudolph over Drake May. That's all I heard.
Okay. All right. Like, that's fine. You guys want to gang up on me? That's fine.
By the way, who's leading
here, Trent?
Ian, who's leading MVP odds right now?
I believe it's Drake May.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
I think Drake May might have been better than Mason Rudolph when Drake May was still in college.
I think there may be some truth to that.
I think maybe in junior high. I think maybe Luke May might be a top 20 backup in the NFL right now. There's my take.
The deeper we go into this audio, the more fun it gets. I really enjoy it. Really enjoy it. By the time the next break happens, Joe, we could have a lot of stuff that we've uncovered here in this clip.
Apparently, I didn't realize my love for Mason Rudolph was this deep, but apparently I had an issue. maybe I just haven't felt right all fall. Maybe it's missing Mason.
That's what it is. One texter says, it used to get 2 years before you were a bust. Then it was 1 year. Now I guess it's 9 games. Are people calling Ward a bust at this point? I haven't seen very many people doing that. I'm sure that, there are some fans on Twitter, I'm sure, that do that. But
the still Billy is probably, I bet you he said that word 50 times
and
tied it to him, right? Again, I know that that's the extreme of non-thought at times when it comes to football and other things. But I have seen it some. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Now it's also ridiculous to say, for sure he's going to be great, or, you're all in and this is going to work out. The truth is probably somewhere in there. And again, to me, it's like, can he be a good enough quarterback that if you have a great team, you can win at a high level?
Yeah.
There's such a bad team. It's just so far away, but at some point it's going to need to be him who, steps forward, shows growth, shows progress, and hopefully while getting supported with better offense, all that stuff. But at some point, he has to step forward and improve. And there's a lot of improvement he has to make, like you just said.
Can I make it an admission to you that I'm not proud of? For the first time last night, Joe, November the 13th, I was sitting on the couch. I'm watching the Patriots and the Jets game last night. And what did I do? I fired up my phone. And
did you do a mock?
I fired up the mock draft simulator. I did last night
boy.
on November the 13th, a mock draft simulator. I was like, well, Titans are number 1 right now. Let's see what we got. A lot of trade offers, by the way. A lot of trade offers.
Well, you may as well tell us what you ended up with then.
I think I traded from 1 to 5 and ended up with 2 first-round picks in 2027 from the Jets. And also got their 5th overall pick, 32nd and 36, something like that. So made up and ended up with Ruben Bain at number 5. So I felt good about it.
Oh, dang. Well, that's a good outcome.
Yeah,
good
I
job.
know. Also ended up with Eli Stowers in the 6th round. So I don't know how realistic this mock draft simulator is going to be. It's like 6th round, huh? How about that?
So the simulator hates Vanderbilt just like the playoff selection committee.
I guess so.
Oh, that's good to know. Wow. Any Pavia? Anyone draft Pavia?
I did not see Pavia. No, didn't see. I did see Joey Aguilar got drafted with the last pick by somebody. So that's where I was at last night.
Irrelevant.
I was like, thank God. November 13th has come around, and I've decided to fire up a mock draft simulator. That's what the Titans have done to me.
Well, it happens. I mean, I say if you enjoy doing the mock draft simulator, then I say do it. Just don't. We have to try to not do it a lot on the show, but I think if Titans fans want to do it, then they should do it.
One texter on the Cam Ward front says, I could see him being in the Dak Prescott range, and I would love to have Dak. This is from an unnamed texter on the text line. I don't know. Like, first off,
Dak Prescott's really
Dak
good.
Prescott's good. Yep. He's a good player. And, I know the Cowboys are kind of a dumpster fire with everything going on with them, but, I mean, he's been pretty good this year. He's completing almost 70% of his passes, 2,300 yards, 17 touchdowns, 6 picks, and the offense is not the problem with Dallas this year.
Yeah, look, again, first of all, I would agree. Anybody who says right now, would you like better? Sure. But right now, if you're a Titans fan and someone said he will be the same quality of player as Dak Prescott, you should not be upset about that. Of course you'd like better, but I mean.
And do you remember the conversation we had in the offseason, how mad people got when I said, would you accept Cam Ward turning into what Baker Mayfield is now in Tampa Bay?
Yeah, I mean, that's
who,
guys,
by the way,
I mean
he's having, he's probably not going to win an MVP, but he's having an MVP type of season down there in Tampa Bay.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So, he's pretty far away from that right now. Obviously, they are so bad it shrouds it a little bit. But yeah, those are outcomes that, like, again, people. I don't want to start this again, but I keep bringing it up. People are like, Tannehill never could have won. Well, you're full of crap. If Tannehill throws one less pick, they're in the AFC title game for the second time in 3 years. They almost won at Kansas City the first time. They had they had 2 10-point leads. The defense eventually broke against Patrick Mahomes. How could you possibly say that they could not have won? That they could not have beat the Chiefs at home, that they could not have beat the Rams in the Super Bowl, the team that they went out and kicked their butt like a month earlier? Like, you can't possibly say that. And you can't tell me that Dak Prescott, if he had a competent owner / GM, that he isn't good enough to win a Super Bowl. Is he the guy who can carry team to Super Bowl? No. But guess who are? Josh Allen, no Super Bowls. Lamar Jackson, no Super Bowls. Joe Burrow, no. Those are the ones who can carry teams. They haven't won anything. So, yeah, this is getting repetitive with me, but it's like, you have to be realistic. Like, just because someone isn't going to be a top 5 quarterback does not mean they are a bust. There's a huge area in between.
There's a huge area in between. And frankly, right now, if you told me that Cam Ward got to that area in between next year, I would take it, man. I would take it right now in a heartbeat, because right now he's a long way from that. And again, that's not a huge surprise based on, we talked about this the day he was drafted. Cam Ward was not a, generational type of prospect. He's got some good ability to him. He's got a great arm. There's a lot of things to like about him, which is why they took him number 1 overall. But he wasn't like some just perfect prospect out there. And the Titans are awful. Like we talked about, none of this is that new, right? Now, they're probably worse than even maybe I thought they were heading into the year, which is disappointing. But the Titans are awful. We talked about this the moment he was drafted. He has not been set up for success here with this organization. And the question is that going to change at any point? Or are the Titans such a problem right now that they can't just dig themselves out of this massive hole that they're in? That's what it comes down to. And yeah, some of that's on him. A lot of it's not, though. A lot of that's about what's around him right now.
Yeah, and again, at some point, you may get to the Mariota point. And again, right now, he's not playing at that level. He's not playing as a rookie. He's not showing as much as a rookie as Mariota did.
No.
If he has Mariota's second year, we will all be declaring that Cam Ward is the next star. That's funny. I saw a tweet last night. It was like, somebody in Titans Twitter, but it was like an old Peter King screenshot, which first of all, it made me like go, yeah, I kind of miss Peter King. But it was like Peter King on some Sunday in 2016. It was like November. It was like, the Titans have their guy for a long time. And that's what I thought too. I mean, I know you were sitting there hating him the whole time, but if Cam Ward has the season Mariota had as a second season, we will all be declaring this is the guy,
Yeah.
and you still don't know. It's a long process, but obviously everybody would love to have that problem.
This Sunday, the NFL game of the week, the Chiefs taking on the Broncos at 3:25 on 102.5 The Game. NFL game of the week presented by Circa Sportsbook Kentucky and Macero in 12 South. We'll take more of your thoughts on Cam Ward, plus some local coaches. They need some fans in the building. We'll get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Looking for a great spot to pregame before the Titans-Texans game this Sunday? Stop by John Bon Jovi's. JBJ's has the best food on Broadway. Cold beer, cocktails, stunning skyline views, including 2 epic rooftops. Catch the pregame show next Sunday on 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Tennessee Brew Works and Old National Bank. I hope you people realize how good Ian Safar is. We were talking about this song before the show. It's been in my head for 2 days, and he just fires it up, throws it in here. Good stuff from Ian Safar. As always, we'll have the Rob rant coming up at 7:45 here on the show. Joe, some Vanderbilt coaches making news over the last few days here. And Mark Byington, men's basketball coach, Shea Ralph, women's basketball coach at Vanderbilt, both in their own way, Joe, kind of, I don't know, calling out the fans a little bit at Vanderbilt. You know, the college basketball season has begun. And Shea Ralph said this first on November the 10th after they won against Furman. Quote, "Come watch us. It's a great experience. It's fun. We play the game the right way. We'll interact with your family. If you bring them, they'll have an amazing in-game experience. Yeah, but come to Vanderbilt because Vanderbilt athletics is on fire right now, and we're part of that. And you can see what it looks like. The atmosphere creates this undeniable home court advantage. We desperately need that, especially in the league that we play. So I will do anything to get more fans at the game." That was Shea Ralph. Mark Byington, more recently, after their game the other day against Eastern Kentucky, said, quote, "We've got to do more with Memorial. We've got to support this team now and build along the way and not wait for an opponent to come in and take over the place. And the people that came out tonight, we really appreciate your support. The ones that are watching at home, we don't feel that support. We need more people in Memorial. This place is great. It's loud. We talk about Memorial magic, but the truth behind the magic is when people are in the stands." So, Joe, that has generated a lot of reaction here locally over the last couple of days. What are your thoughts on Shea Ralph and Mark Byington at Vanderbilt basically pleading for more fans to be in the building at Memorial Gym?
Yeah, there's a lot to this. And on the one hand, I think it's been particularly low this year. So you got to have the proper context on that. Like even related, I was just reading a really good Aria Gerson story that I'm sure we talked about at the time, you know, back from 2023, kind of going into like the decline really from like 2010-11 in Memorial Gym. And there's a big graphic that goes with it to the, you know, to that point, which of course was the end, you know, Jerry Stackhouse era ending. There's a fan, by the way, there's a fan quoted this story. It's like, one of the factors in him not going to the game is that Stackhouse blocked him on Twitter. But
it's a factor really well not going to the game was the coach hated him.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's a lot to this. And on to some extent, I have sympathy because I think both coaches are good. I think both teams are going to be in the NCAA tournament again. So it's not like out of the blue, like starting to, I mean, look, like Shea Ralph, I mean, frankly, like that team, and they had some, you know, they had defection and injury, things like that, or I think they could be a top 10 team. But Michaela Blake's to me is like, I would say for anybody who just likes basketball, likes great, you know, sports athletes, etc., like she's worth the price of admission. But I also, a couple things here on the schedule. First of all, let's go to the schedules. Okay. So here's the men's schedule at home. Lipscomb, which by the way, I'm going to get to that angle too. Good for them playing Lipscomb. Need a whole lot more of that. Okay. But Lipscomb, Eastern Kentucky, Arkansas Pine Bluff, Texas Southern, SMU, there's a Power 4 team, Central Arkansas, and New Haven. That is the men's home non-league schedule. Obviously, the SEC, you're going to have, I mean, you're going to have Bama coming in here and Florida coming in here and Kentucky coming in here and Tennessee. I mean, it's, you know, the SEC is amazing. Last year is the greatest conference of all time. That will be, I mean, frankly, that will be much better. But when you hear that schedule, what comes to mind?
Nothing. I mean, I don't want to see it is what comes to mind.
I mean, like
certainly don't want to pay for
look,
it.
Yeah, like you have I mean, you are competing with this city. You're just competing with a lot of things, and so I would look at that and I would say, look, I understand it's not easy. I know it's not easy. Our assistant to the regional executive co-producer, Tom Izzo, like this year, he's got Arkansas Duke coming in to East Lansing, but I mean, there's lots of years where they don't have a game that's all that attractive, and the attractive games are like at the Champions Classic when they play Kentucky, or
the
Duke.
aircraft carrier. Yeah,
exactly. So I get it. It's not easy to get good games, but I mean, to me, you gotta have more than that. Okay, let's go to the women's Vanderbilt schedule at home. Furman, Alabama State, TSU. Again, I give a shout out on that because that's part of this too. But still, okay, Virginia is, and that's the SEC ACC challenge. Then you have South Florida. Then you have University of Albany. You have Texas Southern. You have Stonehill.
Yeah.
Okay, and then again, get to the SEC. The SEC is awesome. It's an incredible conference in women's basketball. There's going to be a bunch of big games, but it's hard. Like there's a few things too. Okay, so you have to schedule. You have to give people more than that. First of all, also I do think there's probably something to. I've heard this from some Vanderbilt fans, like, and it's not necessarily quote unquote an excuse, but like they're not used to football being the dominant thing at this point. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like it revolves around football. And I know you as a Tennessee fan, I think there's plenty of Tennessee fans who can speak to like, but it's just hard to get your head into basketball until football's over. If you have good football,
yeah. Don't even turn my attention to it until football's over.
I mean, you are especially.
I am, but yeah, I realize I'm a little bit more extreme there. But like, I think for most, maybe I shouldn't say most, a lot of Tennessee fans, they don't even pay attention to college basketball until football's over.
Yeah, I think it's probably. I'm sure it's more now, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's more now. I mean, like they got some big games coming up. Like I think Tennessee fans. But yes, it's taken some time to get to that, and it's still if football, like if the Vols were in the playoff race right now, like maybe some people are like, well, okay, yeah, so like look, Vanderbilt football is an incredible story. It's dominant. They're filling that stadium, all that. Now again, the numbers they're very low. So would I say that you would hope some people would show up just because these are now good programs? I mean, it's early for Mark Byington, but it's promising. He has a good team. Like, this is a good team. Last year's team, of course, gets to the tournament. This team, again, the problem is they're not going to play very many games where you can tell that much. And so I know that I hesitate to blame a coach on that because I know scheduling is difficult, but you got to find a way to have more attractive games. But he's got a good team. That's a team that I think is going to make the NCAA tournament. Although the SEC is a meat grinder, and sometimes that can eat up teams, but I think they could do stuff in the tournament. And again, I think the same thing of Shea Ralph's team. Michaela Blake's is an incredible player. They have the freshman point guard who's, I think, really promising. Posada's playing well. Like they got a chance to do things. So you would hope that there would be some, like, just because the teams are good, the programs are good, there's some players, especially again with Blake's, that you can attach to. You'd hope for a little bit better than apparently it has been. But you got to give people more. And the biggest thing, Robby, is I'll get to it next. What we've desperately needed around here. And I don't know why it doesn't happen, but it has to happen.
615-737-1025, our phone number. What do you make of Shea Ralph, Mark Byington saying, hey, we got to get more fans in the building at Memorial Gym? We'll take your thoughts on that. Rob Rant coming up at 7:45, all that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on Vanderbilt. Mark Byington, Shea Ralph, they want more fans in the building. Your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Joe, one texter says, there's only so much Vanderbilt energy that can be pumped into the universe. Right now, all that's going towards football in the season. They're having, once that's over, the basketball programs will get their due. Sam says, lifetime Vanderbilt fan, but always wondered why a recruit would go to Vandy with a lack of fan support. It's like the football team plays 8 SEC road games every year. It's been a little bit different this year, a little bit different.
You should have been there last week. Now, there was still a lot of Auburn fans, but, like when Vanderbilt did something good versus when Auburn did something good, so it wasn't like it was a bowl game, like it was 50-50. It was an amazing atmosphere. And look, man, Memorial Gym, shoot, the much maligned Stackhouse era. I'll go back to the Tennessee Vanderbilt game from a couple years ago where, oh my gosh, lefty in the corner.
I remember the shot. Vanderbilt. I don't remember the name. Yeah.
I feel Tyron Lawrence.
There it is.
Now, look, were there a lot of Tennessee fans in the building? Yes. But if you were a recruit visiting Vanderbilt that day, you would have been like, this place is amazing. Like, the students, the Memorial Gym, and I don't think I've seen it like people always tell me, like, oh, you should have been here, in 06 or 11 or whatever. But I mean, it's pretty special, man. It's a great old barn, and it should be a great home court advantage.
Somebody wants to get rid of it. This one texter says, had season tickets at Vanderbilt for 25 years in spite of coaching changes, ups and downs of the program. Main reason we finally quit is because Memorial is old and outdated, desperately needs to be replaced. In particular, millennials and Gen Z are not going to get in that place and sit on wooden benches and watch basketball. They need to get with the 21st century and build a new Coliseum.
Yeah, you know what you need to do, Texter? You need to go sit in a corner and stare at it all day.
Wow.
Okay? And text us back when you have something that's not an abomination of a take. My God. No. Just fix up the places. You know how many Ohio State plays at this place called Value City Arena. It's one of these nice new buildings. It's absolute crap. They used to play at St. John's Arena, just a little barn, just like Memorial, and it was amazing. Penn State plays at one of the worst, big, nice facilities. Bryce Jordan. Is it Bryce Jordan? I think so. I don't know. Bryce something. It sucks. They used to have, whatever it was called, it was like Assembly Hall or whatever. You don't get rid of these places. You just fix them up. And yes, Memorial Gym still needs more fixing up. I'll be the first to acknowledge that. Hell no, you don't get rid of it. Anyone getting rid of these great old basketball cathedrals should be arrested. But I want to call out Robby. I want to draw Tennessee into this discussion a little bit because I wrote this column for the Tennessee a long time ago. Steve Cavendish. Our friend Steve Cavendish he's written about it too. And people have talked about it. There's way too many good basketball programs in this state, first of all, that don't play each other, which is ridiculous. And, I do think, I think in particular with men's basketball, I think there's, well, by the way, Belmont almost beat Tennessee last night in women's basketball. They gave them a hell of a run, but I think I think some sort of a tournament, and you could do it at Bridgestone. I would prefer Memorial. You could do it at Bridgestone. Get Middle involved. Get Belmont, Lipscomb. Again, get Memphis, get Tennessee. But also, until we have that, which we've been talking about forever, and it doesn't happen, and we need to make it happen. These teams, Tennessee and Vanderbilt in particular, they should be playing these teams. They should be playing Belmont. Vanderbilt played Lipscomb. Good job. Why are you not playing Belmont? How? Play Belmont. Men's and women's, doubleheader. Do that. It's such a no-brainer. Tennessee, get TSU. These teams, they don't. Okay, so I'm looking at Tennessee. They play TSU. And I'm going through, and this year, yeah, they play TSU. Like, it just, you should play Tennessee Tech. Like, this should be obvious. And some high major coaches are going to tell you, well, the cost of losing one of those games is more than the reward for playing it. I reject that. I think the entire sport, part of this story, Robby, is that the entire sport needs to think for the entire sport and do things that help the sport and get more interest, especially while football season's still going on. And if people can't think of the greater good, then they're not contributing to the greater good, and they don't really have much to complain about, in my opinion.
Do you think that's going to help the attendance, though? I mean, Vanderbilt did play Lipscomb and nobody showed up.
Yeah, it's fair. It's a fair question. I think Belmont. I would think that there would be years at least where like a Belmont game at Vanderbilt would that the attendance would. I mean, it's 2 seconds away. I know Lipscomb is too, but maybe there's a little bit more. There's more of a fan base for Belmont than there is for Lipscomb, to be fair. But like this has happened before. Well, shoot, Bryce Drew. I mean, I remember the game. They went and they played at Belmont. They actually played in their gym. Rick Byrd, Belmont won. It was a packed house. It was awesome, Now, Bryce Drew wasn't very upset after the game because that was the day he signed Darius Garland. But yeah, they should just play each other and go to the other gyms too. To me, there's a greater good there. Again, executive assistant, associate producer. He does that stuff. And it's not necessarily just in-state stuff. He had a team called James Madison come up for the opener a couple years ago, coached by Mark Byington. They won in East Lansing. I mean, that's a tough loss. But if you play these good mid-majors, that still can help your strength of schedule. There's still a benefit to it if they do well in their league. And there's just not enough of it. And I know that all these coaches can say, yeah, but I try to do this and I try to do that. Ultimately, these mid-major coaches, they obviously want to play those games. And for the most part, they get rejected.
Man, there's some people ripping Memorial Gym on the text line right now. It says it's a glorified high school gym. It says Joe sounds like an old curmudgeon. Maddie does say, tear down Memorial. Geez, I hear there's a historic church downtown where people play live music now that needs to be refurbished too while they're at it. Come on, texters. Anchor down and embrace the historical. This from Maddie.
Thank you, Maddie. You other people. My God. It's a
ripping Memorial
play. Yeah. Look, again, it needs to be updated. Sure. But now what are we even doing here? That's a great point. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that weird looking, that building on Broadway, that doesn't, I like how Kid Rock's honky tonk looks better. Let's have another one of those. Let's have another Kid Rock's honky tonk and we'll just get rid of the Ryman. Get the hell out of here.
Here's what I'll say on the coaching front real quick. I don't necessarily have a problem with Shea Ralph and Mark Byington wanting more fans and saying that they need more fans in the building. I don't know that after the Furman game for the women's team and after the Eastern Kentucky game for the men's team is quite the time to be doing it. Will on the text line says, hey, the first rule of sales in life is if you don't get it, you don't ask, you don't get. I say, why not ask fans to show up? Good for them. I get that. I don't know that after the Furman game where you win by 50 and the Eastern Kentucky game where the men's team wins by 30 is necessarily the best timing on that front. Because, frankly, I would have no interest in watching either one of those games if I were a Vanderbilt fan.
Yeah. Now, again, the context, and I wasn't there, so I don't know. I've heard, it was especially down, like especially low. And it's, I mean, for whatever reason, and again, these programs are good now. It just, you haven't really seen that show up. And again, there can be so many things there too, right? I mean, just everything's so expensive now. I mean, I think that's part of it, like you got to make tough choices. This city makes you make tough choices when it comes to entertainment. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Did you see the Butch Jones video last weekend? So this ties into all this.
Oh no,
it's sure amazing. So they're, Arkansas State's playing at home and they're coming out of the tunnel, right? And the camera is on Butch Jones and you can see him. He goes, where are the fans? That's what where are the fans? And then the camera pans to the stands and there's like 14 people in the crowd. It's amazing. Where are the fans? Where are they?
Poor Butch. Oh, Butch. That's hilarious. I got to find that.
It is.
I got
it's amazing.
Let me shout out Paul real quick. He says, the people that want to tear down Memorial are the same people who are unable to quote Spinal Tap or the Big Lebowski. They don't count. Damn it, Paul. That is a perfect text. I love you.
It's Paul, your burner.
517 area code.
737-1025, our phone number. We got the Rob Rant coming up next. TD will be with us at 8 o'clock to look ahead to the Titans and the Texans. All that coming up. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Don't make me angry.
Sometimes you have to tell someone to pound sand.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
This is the Rob Rant.
No!
Now on Robby and Rexrode.
Do we have any stats? Anybody?
My 2-year-old is in here talking to me right now.
Sorry for talking.
I filled the room with meaningless noise.
Our latest criminal has made it in the building.
Get your police corps up to snuff.
Trying to kick on one side, kick to start the second half, and we got to wait on the chain crew because they're eating a hot dog.
That is a $25 hot dog, folks. And it's also because you're 2 and 6 and you need to be in the office working.
Well, at least he didn't say he hated his father. It is time for the Rob Rant, brought to you by Functional Medicine of Tennessee. Rise up to better health. Check them out at functionalmedicineoftennessee.net. I apologize to all of you for having to listen to that loser Shane Beamer talk in that opening there, but we'll survive it together. We have for years now at this point.
Beautiful.
Always put a Beamer in there. Put a Beamer or a Drinkwitz in there, Ian, for the Rob rant.
Beamer's got some doozies. Beamer's
Boy,
got
does he
some
suck.
doozies, doesn't he? Man, that guy, he's kind of a jerk.
Yeah, a little bit of a whiner. I know. I've been
Little
trying to tell you
bit.
guys for a couple years that Shane Beamer is the worst and that Matt LaFleur sucks. Now people are coming around. I'm glad everybody's coming around this week. It's good stuff. It's a big week for me on the program. Big week.
No doubt.
So, Joe, let me start today. The NFL has filed a grievance against the NFLPA to basically stop those annual team report cards that the NFLPA puts out that we talk a lot about here on the show. And they're saying that it violates the collective bargaining agreement by airing public criticism of teams. And this is what the NFL is going with. And this is from a story on ESPN.com by Seth Wickersham and Don Vanetta Jr. Quote, the league claims the report cards, which poll players on various aspects of working conditions, violate a CBA clause that says NFL owners and the union must, quote, use reasonable efforts to curtail public comments by club personnel or players which express criticism of any club, its coach, or its operation and policy, end quote, according to an August letter from the league's management council to NFLPA General Counsel Tom DePazzo that was obtained by ESPN. So they've been talking about this apparently, Joe, for a few months, and now the NFLPA was alerted this past week that the NFL is moving ahead with this year's NFLPA is moving ahead with this year's survey. So this has been a very popular thing on social media the last 24 hours or so. Jeffrey Simmons was actually asked about this yesterday at Titans Media Availability. Here's what Jeffrey Simmons had to say.
NFL and NFLPA fight about a lot of things, and they have fought about a lot of things in the past. The report card is the truth. I'm sure guys not just going on there because it's not mandatory that guys fill it out. So they go on there and they fill it out. Whatever we put out there and whatever we grade, whatever we think on that report card, when we filling out the survey, that's the truth. So I don't really, I haven't saw that just yet that they filed a grievance about it. But I think at the end of the day, it's the truth. And a lot of people don't like to hear the truth at times, but we're gonna stick to it. We're gonna stick together, and I'm sure we'll be ready to fight it as the PA.
So can the NFL please stop being soft? You're making money hand over fist, left and right. People love your product. People are always going to watch your product. People love football. We get all this thing. The NFLPA, sometimes, Joe, the players don't like certain things about certain organizations. And yeah, that gets put out there. And you know where this probably comes from? The bad organizations. I don't know, like the New York Jets and Woody Johnson. I think of the Titans a few years ago. Clearly this, if you use it properly, you can improve things. I can't remember exactly what year it was, but it was a few years ago. The Titans scored really poorly in the treatment of families category, right? And then the next year, they were awesome in treatment of families. So clearly, Amy Adams Strunk or somebody in that organization looked at the NFLPA report card and said, you know what? I guess we're not doing a very good job there. Let's see if we can't correct it. And the idea that this is supposed to be some bad thing, and they're using the excuse of, well, we can't just be having public comments about how bad our situations can be at times. Nothing has really ever been that bad in there other than with the bad organizations. So stop being soft, NFL. Let the report cards continue. It's a talking point for like 3 days, and then people move on in the grand scheme of things. It's really not that big a deal. And by the way, it may allow you to actually fix some stuff that's in your organization when you get unfiltered, honest opinions from your players. So pound sand, NFL.
Well said. Complete asshattery. And yeah, Woody Johnson's exactly who this is. Crying because he sucks. He's a clown. And people who work for him can't stand working there because it's a clown show. I mean, it's accountability. Let's have accountability for everybody in the league, except for the billionaires, the people who are actually, who don't have their money, restricted in any way, right? Who are just absolutely making a killing, and who, in some cases, I mean, like I remember, Clark Hunt, right? Like that was didn't he get like an F minus?
F minus, yeah,
for like this great team, but it's like, well, maybe you should fix some things. And I know the Bengals have, their cheapness has been well documented. So no, this is one of the best things I think the NFLPA has ever done, and it's not unlike go to any like big college, there's always the anonymous like grading the professors thing, and it's a useful guide. It's a useful guide for students. It's also can foster improvement if someone wants to go ahead and look in the mirror and be like, okay, maybe I should. Everybody's saying I'm doing this and it bothers them. Maybe I should change that. Maybe I should do that. That's a great example you gave of the Titans. I don't know what they did. Maybe Kahersky, we could ask him next week. But there were some specific things they did that improved it. Good for you. That's the point. It's not just to rip people. These guys, like. Now I also say this, Robbie. These surveys. I know that it's also there's coaches involved in this too, right? Yep. Yeah. So like the result of the survey from a couple of years ago, in which Brian Callahan was like the most beloved coach in the league, was part of him being an attractive candidate as a coach. So there is that. They have limitations.
Limitations. And by the way, like, if you're Woody Johnson, if you're somebody else, you can make the argument of, well, you could still do the report card, just don't make it public. No, I think public's a good thing in this situation. Otherwise, like, I think it's good. Like, if you're bad in certain areas as an organization, to be publicly blasted for it, you can handle it. Everybody's adults in the room here. You're making billions of dollars every year with your league. That's not changing. You're going to be all right. I promise.
Again, it's like good for the NFL. They should be followed by all the other leagues in terms of these locker rooms need to be open X number of days. Locker room needs to be fully open after a game. They actually do it, unlike the NHL, where they still try to give you 2 freaking players after a game when it's supposed to be an open locker room. Good for the NFL. That's accountability for the players. And you can't even have your name mentioned in this survey. It's just astounding hypocrisy.
So I'm pulling hard for the NFLPA in this particular matter, and I hope that the report cards continue. And matter of fact, after this, I hope they add more detail to it. I hope they ask about 100 questions and just get into everything when it comes to these organizations.
I want to hear if anybody has, I'd like someone to like go check out like Amy Adams Strunk Fox Hunting Society and see if like they're actually good fox hunts.
615-737-1025, our phone number. Teron Davenport with us coming up next. Titans taking on the Texans this weekend. We will get into that with him. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
ESPN's Turon Davenport, Talking Titans, now on Robby and Rexrode on ESPN, 102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
It is that time of the week. We head to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in our friend Turon Davenport to the program, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter, presented by Bart Durham Injury Law and fueled by Parman Energy. TD, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, fellas. What's going on?
Not a lot, man. Appreciate you taking time to be with us this morning. Well, TD, let's start on this front. No CJ Stroud for the Texans coming up on Sunday. I know the last time the Titans played the Texans, they got shut out. So the issues more so on the offensive side of the ball. But what do you make of, Simmons potentially being back in there this week? How the Titans defense has played throughout the aftermath of all this, which frankly at times they've held up better than maybe I thought they should have, depending or given who's out there. What do you make of the Davis Mills matchup for the Titans this week?
Well, here's the thing. They're going to keep everything the same as far as the focusing on the quick passing game, taking occasional deep shots, but they're going to look to dink and dunk, right, and work the underneath and intermediate routes with Dalton Schultz. So it's going to remain relatively the same as far as system is concerned, but we know that Stroud is a much bigger playmaker than Davis Mills. So that'll be different. But I think really it's going to come down to getting pressure on that quarterback. They have opportunities to do so. Denard Wilson, has done a really, really excellent – well, let's not get too far. He's done a solid job of manufacturing ways to get to the quarterback. There's going to be a few new things, too. Don't be surprised if you see, Kevin Winston Jr., a little more pass rush. James Williams, I think, may get an opportunity to do some of that also, just to add another element to it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the Titans, and I know obviously Draymond Jones is gone now, but the pass rush probably been one of the pleasant surprises of this season for the Titans, TD. And of course, pass protection has not been, although I mean, I think it's better, but it obviously continues to be a struggle. This is not a great matchup in that way. I do wonder if this game is a little bit of a, like an opportunity for J.C. Latham here down the stretch to sort of, establish himself here and finish the season strong. I think he's one of the key guys, young guys that you need to grow into being a really good player. The way Skoronski has, where do you think he is and how important do you think this is for him?
Well, first off, I'm glad you mentioned Skoronski because, he's getting the typical offensive lineman treatment, right? When you do a really good job, you just kind of float under the radar and nobody talks about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I'm glad you mentioned him because he deserves his props. He's playing at an all-pro level. I mean, that's just what it is. Now, as far as Latham's concerned, he's another one of their major investments, draft capital-wise, in their offensive lineman. And so you do want to see him begin to start to turn the corner. And I think the further he's able to get away from his hip injury, the better for him. So, yeah, he's a key part of it. I mean, you guys remember back in the days, when they had the bookend tackles before, that's when the Titans were a good team, and that's something that they need to get back to. That's a foundation starter.
TD, you've watched every snap that Cam Ward has taken to this point. We know the situation around him. We know the limitations of the roster. What's the number one thing you want to see from Cam Ward in the second half of the season?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to cue up a quote, a DMX song. Stop being greedy and give to the needy.
Nice.
That's what I want to see him do, right? We know he wants to take that shot. He wants to push the ball down the field, and I love that for him. But you know what? A part of being a really good quarterback, a very effective, efficient quarterback, is learning to take the easy play. And the thing that's really good about this is that's when I asked him what the one thing is that he thought about a lot over the break was that. So I think if he could show that, hey, you know what? I'm going to jab you to set up that uppercut, I think he's going to start winning some fights, so to speak. And that's what I want to see him do, be able to set things up and just be a more efficient passer. Get in more, second and fours, third and threes, those type of situations as a result of looking deep, but coming down to your reads underneath.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Obviously, he talked about TD. We were talking earlier about Cam, and really just the appreciation that he directly calls out. He called out on his own, right? The Van Jefferson play where the footwork was just bad, and he just, he dirted it, and it should have been a big play. Seems like he's got self-awareness. He's not afraid to call himself out publicly. And also, it seems to me like he gets after teammates like the right amount that you want on the field, and I think that's impressive for a rookie. What about just the mechanics? The accuracy, the footwork, things like that. Obviously you're working on that during the season, but you get into games and a lot of times you kind of revert to habits or whatever. Like how I guess how much better do you think that can still be for him as he moves forward in his NFL career?
Joe, it's just that, right? You work on the mechanics, but until it becomes muscle memory and just a complete habit, you're going to resort back to older things when the bullets are live, so to speak. So you're 100% right with that. I think really the mechanics and the footwork and all that stuff, that's going to come during the off season. That's really, you can't really tweak that and completely and effectively with the little bit of time that you're spending on that during the regular season. Now, he did say he works on that stuff on his own too, and props to him for that. But I don't think there's really going to be a change until next year. And so that being said, he can continue to try to make those small incremental, adjustments and things like that. But you're not going to see the full product until next year.
So, TD, Amani Hooker signed a contract extension back in September. He's 27 years old. We've seen him play really good football before for this team. What do you make of the season he's had to this point and kind of where he is right now heading into the second half of this season, but also looking ahead over the next couple of years?
Yeah, it hasn't been an Amani Hooker season. There's a lot of missed tackles, and tackling was one of the things that I felt was his strong suit, and that's why I compared him to Malcolm Jenkins. When he came out, because Malcolm Jenkins was an awesome tackler. And you're seeing missed tackles. You're seeing bad angles, right? You look at the Jonathan Taylor home run that he hit there in Indy. It was a bad angle. And you don't normally see those types of things from Amani Hooker. So I'm not sure exactly what it is. I know, just talking to Quandre Diggs, and he was talking about the 4 safety rotation. And it was harder for guys to get into the flow of the game. So maybe that, I don't know. And again, I'm not making excuses. I'm just offering explanations that may be. The bottom line is he has to play better, right? And when the team invests in you like that, you got to reward the investment. You know what I mean? Because the way this league works is if you don't, in a year or two, we'll be talking about that deal. Like, hey, well, you know what? It really only amounted to a 2-year deal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he does need to step his game up. I would be surprised if he doesn't. I think it's time for a lot of these guys to play better football. And the thing is, even though they're not playing for playoffs or anything like that, you're playing for your pride, right? And you got a name on the front of the jersey, on the back of the jersey. Make it proud and turn things around.
Well, staying at that position, TD, you mentioned earlier that Winston, maybe we'll see him, in a blitzing capacity. Do you think that, like next year, there's so many positional needs, obviously. Do you think that those two, like their skill sets mesh well, that they could be a good duo next season?
Yeah, I do. I think they could be a good duo. I look forward to seeing how Winston grows into that position. He's a heck of an athlete, and a very good sized player as well. So I think he and Hooker, they're interchangeable, right? Both could play in the box or drop back. They give you some coverage things. I think Winston is going to be a better coverage safety than Hooker, but you got them, and then you got of course Xavier Woods. He has the hamstring; he's been out, but he'll likely be around too.
So, TD, I thought it was a pretty entertaining media session from Jeffrey Simmons yesterday. Talked about a lot of different things. And one of the things that he talked about was, he talks with, obviously, Brinker and Borgonzi a lot, and admitted that, early on, it was pretty hard to see the vision, right? There's a lot of losing that's been going on, and, obviously he's tired of losing, but he kind of reiterated his support for those two yesterday in terms of the long-term plan. So as you look at him, knowing that there's going to have to be, some sort of contract adjustment extension coming up this offseason, how bought in do you think Simmons is to being here and trying to help this team get to the other side of this?
You ever see Daddy Daycare?
Oh yeah, love that movie.
You know that you know the one part where the big guy was carrying the kid when they first opened the daycare, and the kid was making a fuss, and then they gave him that money, and he's like,
yes,
and he was quiet.
Get the dollar.
Yeah, I think that's kind of it could be a similar situation to that, but I think it's not necessarily the money as much as it's just, hey, look, I'm pouring into you and making you understand that you are the core of the foundation that we're building around, and this adjustment to the contract is a token of our appreciation and showing you that we are putting our money where our mouth is. I think that's really what it is. Was just the whole picture that they presented to Simmons has got him to buy in and just give him the understanding that, hey, look, man, I'm the core, and it's on me to help turn things around. It's almost like a level of responsibility that they put on him.
Other than Cam, TD, if you could pick one player, a young player that the Titans consider part of the future, to have a good rest of the season, who would it be?
Well, I mean, naturally, I'm going to pick Tim DK, but let's play different a little bit, and I'm gonna go Gunnar Hill. And I think this is a guy that I feel as though, actually, you watch Dalton Schultz on the other side of the ball. I think Gunnar Hill could be that type of player, right? Where he's a quarterback's best friend. You go to him when things break down. He's going to catch the ball, get you yards after catch, but most importantly, be a really good red zone option. And I think that's where Gunnar Hill could really step in. Look, guys, he's been targeted 25 times. He caught 20 of them. That just lets you know that there's a degree of reliability with him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm
get him
those
the ball.
Guys. Yeah, DK, Helm, get him the ball in the second half of the year. TD, appreciate you as always, man. Thanks so much for taking time to be with us this morning, and enjoy the game this weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Appreciate you guys. Take care.
Yep, Teron Davenport with us every Friday morning at 8:00, presented by Bart Durham Injury Law and fueled by Parman Energy. We'll react to what TD had to say. Take your thoughts on the Titans and the Texans coming up next. We got Pigskin Pick'em at 8:30. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Chase and Big Joe will be broadcasting live at the all-new Circus Sportsbook Kentucky in the Mint Gaming Hall this Monday prior to the Monday Night Football game. Monday night matchup, the Cowboys taking on the Raiders. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Appreciate TD for being with us in the last segment. It's the Titans and the Texans coming up on Sunday at Nissan Stadium. No C.J. Stroud for the Texans. Davis Mills in at quarterback. The text line has been sending in Davis Mills stuff all day. Got a large neck, that guy. We'll see how it goes coming up on Sunday and what sort of quarterback play the Texans get. Going to be interesting to see the Titans defense, too. Looks like Jeffrey Simmons going to be back out there. TD tweeted out a video yesterday, Joe, of Ridley running around. He looks good. Ridley looks like he's moving around at full speed. So I would assume both those guys back this week for the Titans, and we'll see what sort of difference they make. What do you think on the Amani Hooker front? Because, Hooker signed the contract extension back in early September. He's 27 years old. Like I said with TD, we've seen him play good football. It's not like he hadn't been a good player for the Titans. He's been a good player. It's not been very good this year. And, he's not number one on the list of bad football that's been out there. But as TD talked about, some bad angles that have been taken, some missed tackles, not being in the right spot. Like it just hasn't really looked like Amani Hooker out there. So how concerning is that? What do you make of that, Joe? And at the age of 27, fresh off of a contract extension, how important is that in the second half of the season that he turns things around and plays good football?
Yeah, it's important. If you would have told me there'd be an issue this year with Amani Hooker, I would have guessed more injuries, not performance. Because that was my concern with extending him is only 27. First of all, that still seems weird to me that he's only 27 because he's been here. He's been such a key guy for so long. He was a part of that 19 draft class coming out of Iowa. But the issue with him has been, I think for a few years there, look, I think, the 2021 team, that gets the number one seed that could have won it all with Ryan Tannehill at quarterback, but did not. So some of you think there was no way that ever could have happened. But I think that was arguably the best safety tandem in the NFL at that point, along with what they had going in the pass rush and everything else. And he's been a really good player. Yeah, it's just I don't know. Are we seeing age? Are we seeing just because of the injuries, the physical tools eroding a little bit? I don't know. Or are we seeing? Think about Byard. I'm watching Byard right now with the Bears. Pretty freaking good still, man.
Yep.
Like he's still a pretty good player. Are we, think about some of Byard's years here, like especially the 2020 season when he really struggled, took some bad angles. You're like, what is going on with him? Sometimes it's also, you can look bad as a product of what's around you. Again, not to make excuses, but it's not like the rest of the defense gives the safeties a ton of help at times. So I don't know, but it's very important for sure. I agree. Like we focus on all the young guys, Helm, get the ball more. Can DK keep making plays? Can Cedric Gray keep progressing? Can Tavondre Sweat make some plays? But also a guy like him, he and Simmons, some of these veteran guys, it's a small list, but they are guys that you want to still be a part of the team when things get better, assuming they do at some point.
Yeah, the Byard's a good example because we did have that conversation back in 2020 of, man, he sure looks like he's kind of slow out there and he's taking some bad angles. And, man, is he just
missing tackle?
Is he falling apart? Like, what's going on out there? And then, he's responded since then and has played pretty well. So, when you have a bad defense around you, that certainly has an effect. Although I will say, some of it is just it's recognizing what you're seeing, taking the right angle of the ball and making the play, and he's just not doing that as consistently enough. So you wonder why that would be the case. I almost wonder sometimes with players like him in this situation, are you running around trying to do too much out there, right? You know how bad things are around you in the secondary. And by the way, since the season started, they've traded away McCreary, they've traded away Brownlee, and you got a bunch of guys out there that are just guys in the secondary. Are you running around trying to do too much and it's just totally taking you out of your game? I mean, honestly, frankly, that would be best case scenario for me if I'm a Titans fan. I hope that's the case.
Yeah. And look, it is. TD was just talking about like Skoronski and offensive linemen, right? It really is like the one or two huge mistakes you make. Sometimes they stand out, and then you can, you can play like 53 great snaps, but you have two terrible ones, and people come away saying, "God, he sucked in that game." And that can be true of defensive backs too. Not that some of these mistakes, it's just that some of them from him have just been so out of character, and you're just surprised to see him. But yeah, I mean, I think all those things probably play a role in it. So he's one of those. He's a consummate professional. He's one of those guys who sets a standard in terms of preparation. I think that he learned that from Kevin Byard, and it's a great guy to have around. I still think that's why you could have made a case for some of these other guys, like a McCreary, like a Harold Landry, to try to maybe keep some of these guys. But I still think he's a really important guy in the locker room. And it would be big for them to feel like, hey, after this year, with a few weeks of good football, for them to feel like, okay, safety's good. Winston, you can see it with him. Like TD said, it's great to have interchangeable safeties. They can both be a box safety. They can both, they can both be middle of the field safety and the post safety, if need be, move it around. If you feel like that's a good tandem next year, then wow, there's a position you actually don't have to worry about while worrying about all the other ones.
Let's head to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Adam in Portland to the program. Adam, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, man, I never thought I'd be beating on the table for anybody, but I will for Monty Hooker. Like, I think it's completely unfair to act like he sucks or act like he's just having a down year. He's out. You put Ed Reed on this defense, he's going to look bad. He's going to look exposed because the offense is on the field for like 45 seconds. And then when he does get it, the defense is getting no help, no pass rush. The linebackers don't tackle, so it's all left to him. And yeah, bad angles, whatever, but he's been on a defense that's been the worst. And we picked number 1 overall, and we're going to be doing it 2 years in a row. So he's like, and I say that to say he's one of like 3 good players. So I don't want to dump on him and hear him go, get himself down too. So I think this is not a very good conversation today.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it. Let's head back to the phone line.
Thank you, Adam.
Driven by Wilson.
Thank you for
County
joining this
Hyundai.com.
terrible conversation.
Welcome in Herb to the program. Herb, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Yes, good morning, guys. Listen to what TD said about Gunnar Helm. I don't know why more teams don't do like the Chiefs do with Mahomes and Kelsey. Because what Kelsey does is not rocket science, but he's so successful. What he does when the ball's snapped, he waits a couple seconds. He looks to see where the defenders are going after the wide receivers are coming in to protect against the run. And then he finds an open space, turns around, and the ball is there, especially on third down. And they're so successful. I think Gunnar Helm could do that for the Titans, and I don't know why they haven't done it before.
Thank you, Herb. Appreciate it. Problem is, Joe, if you wait a couple seconds for the Titans, Cam Ward's flat on his back.
Yep, there is that.
The main door's wide open.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Someone picked the lock. Whoa, that didn't take much. Just a hanger.
Light tap to the door. It just flew open.
Yeah.
Too much WD-40.
Yep.
But that is a great stat by TD. I think Ridley's like around 50%, or something like that on the target and catch thing. And I know I remember last year, didn't he have one where it was like targeted 11 times and no catches or something?
It was 8.
Like crazy.
Yeah.
But that's a great percentage. That tells you getting open, and that tells you catches the ball. And also, on the same page with the quarterback. I mean, I know with the tight end, sometimes it's pretty simple, like go find the soft spot in the zone, or, it's not, I mean, it's usually shorter routes and stuff like that, but still that's a level of reliability they should lean in on more if they can.
Got Pigskin Pick'em coming up next. Tennessee back in action this weekend. The Titans at home taking on the Texans. We'll get into all of that and more, plus a huge weekend coming up in college football. That's next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
Now, it's time for Pigskin Pick'em with Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It is that time of the week, time for Pigskin Pick'em here on Robby and Rexrode. A standings update in the competition. Pretty good week for the program last week. I went 4-2 with my lock. Rexrode and Ian both 3-3 with their locks last week. So pretty decent on the Pigskin Pick'em front, bringing the overall standings. I remain in first place, 37-29, 4-7 on my locks, 41 points. Ian Safar, 34-32 overall, 5-6 on his locks, 39 points, 2 points back. Rexrode, 29-37, 7-4 on his locks, good for 36 points. A close competition in Pigskin Pick'em. With that in mind, we begin. New Mexico State taking on Tennessee this weekend. The Vols at one point were a 40.5-point favorite. It is now back down to 38.5, a 38.5-point favorite for the Tennessee Vols. Give me Tennessee in this one. I think that they, in these type of games, we know one thing about Heupel. I don't know who's coming in at quarterback after Aguilar gets done, Joe. They'll throw it, though. They're going to continue throwing it around, and they're going to get some work for Merklinger. I would imagine at some point you'll see McIntyre. They'll probably get some work for him, too. And I think Tennessee's going to win by like 45. So I'll take the Vols minus the 38.5. Ian Safar, who we got?
I will also take Tennessee. I expect them to win this game, like 52-10, something like that. That will cover. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and just go ahead and make it my lock. It's a lot. It's a big number. But, yeah, they'll cover.
Locking down. Joe Rexrode, who we got? Tennessee favored by 38.5.
New Mexico State 48, Tennessee 10. Give me New Mexico State.
Wow.
I need to make up some ground. Here's where maybe I could do it.
Wow. New Mexico State, the selection to cover. Plus 38.5 against Tennessee coming up at Neyland Stadium. The Houston Texans coming to our beautiful city. Going to be a beautiful weekend here in the Nashville area. Taking on the Tennessee Titans. Houston, a 5.5-point favorite in this matchup with Davis Mills at quarterback. Ian Safar, who we got?
I'll take the Texans. Davis Mills is capable enough. I worry about the Titans being able to score some points in this game. They did not score in the first game versus Houston. We mentioned that earlier in the show. I hope they'll get on the board. The weather should be decent. But I still will not pick them to cover. No.
Joe Rexrode, Houston favored by 5.5 in this matchup.
Yeah, I think the Titans will be competitive. I think their defense with Simmons back on the field against Davis Mills, although Davis Mills may be able to look all around him to the side, over, whatever. I think the Titans will keep it close, but I think the Texans end up winning by 7 to 10 points. Give me the Texans.
Davis Mills elevates the Texans. They win.
Yeah.
They cover. Give me the Houston Texans minus the 5.5 in the matchup on Sunday at Nissan Stadium. We move to the individual portion of the program. Joe Rexrode, your first individual selection.
Well, I got to go right away with our senior associate executive assistant to the regional producer, Pat Narduzzi. He took a lot of crap this week. I think beat us by 100. We won our last two games. He's not wrong. If they win the last two games, they're in the ACC title game, and they're playing one game to get in the playoff. But I think that's a little reverse psychology. I'm not saying Pittsburgh's going to win, but Pittsburgh at home plus 12.5. Pittsburgh is a better team than people realize. Give me the Panthers to cover.
Pittsburgh plus the 12.5 against Notre Dame. Rexrode going with the Doozer to cover things this weekend. Ian Safar, your first individual selection.
Okay, I'm going to take coming off their off week. Give me Bama minus 5.5 versus Oklahoma. Alabama is at home. They're coming off the week off, so I think they'll cover. I think they can win by a touchdown.
I'll go ahead and echo that. I got Bama minus 5.5 too. I honestly can't really believe the line's that low, so I will go Alabama minus the 5.5 against Oklahoma. Rexrode, I can tell by your face you have that too.
Yes, I had that too. Are we allowed to do this?
Sure. Now I'm nervous.
Groupthink. Well, but at least it won't cost you if we're wrong. We're all of the same thing.
So Rexrode has given
guess
2 picks, so he's already done his second pick. Ian, your second individual selection.
Okay, this one's a little off the board college-wise. I can't remember the exact stat, but it was not good for Georgia State covering. Give me Marshall minus 7.5. I don't like the extra half there, but give me Marshall minus 7.5 at Georgia State as my off the wall college pick this week.
I love it. Marshall minus the 7.5 against Georgia State. Give me Western Kentucky minus 13.5 against MTSU and make it my lock. Rivalry game, so you never know. You throw the records out the window in the rivalry game, but Western Kentucky a almost 2 touchdown favorite, and things frankly just not going very well for MTSU. Western Kentucky, by the way, 7-2 overall. They are 5-1 in Conference USA. So I will take the Hilltoppers minus the 13.5 lockdown against MTSU. Joe Rexrode, your third individual selection.
Yep, I looked at that one too. But I'm going to go South Florida at Navy. Big American matchup. Navy is I'm sorry. I think I have this listed as Navy minus 9.5. That is wrong. It's Navy plus 9.5 at home. Navy's got a great offense, but South Florida is going to go up and down the field on them. Give me South Florida, give me the 9.5, and make it my lock.
Guarantee.
Did you call it a nice American matchup because of the conference or because Navy's playing?
Well, I was talking conference, but that's also a good point.
I'm just checking. I know what
Thank
you're
you.
doing.
Good job.
Good stuff. Give me Tennessee Tech at 10-0 plus 21.5 against Kentucky. I don't think they're going to win, but give me Tennessee Tech to cover.
I like that.
21.5 against Kentucky. That's a good football team. They're 10-0. I realize that we're talking about two completely different levels of football here, but I'll take the plus 21.5 for Tennessee Tech against Kentucky in this matchup. Ian Safar, your third individual selection.
Okay, to the NFL. I don't know. This one's kind of sticking out. I'm going on a little bit of a limb here. Broncos plus 3.5 versus the Chiefs.
At home.
At home. So I think, yeah, maybe field goal. You know, I got the extra half point there. I'm going to take Broncos plus 3.5 at home versus Kansas City in a big AFC West battle.
That is a large game. Denver plus 3.5 at home. Ian going with them against the Kansas City Chiefs. For my final selection, give me the LA Rams minus 3 against the Seahawks. An important NFC West matchup. Could go a long way in determining who the number 1 seed is in the NFC. Give me the Rams minus the 3 against the Seattle Seahawks. Joe Rexrode, your final individual selection.
Yeah, I don't know if this is smart or not, but I'm not going NFL at all. I'm all college. Really, I haven't actually done that well in college. I think I've probably done better in the NFL. So this is pretty stupid. But and another thing I'm worried about is, I'm looking at Florida. They were so bad. Kentucky absolutely took them apart. Are they just done, or are they just so erratic you just don't know what to expect week to week? All I know is they're at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is minus 11.5. It's a big number given the talent of Florida, but also Lane Kiffin, he may be auditioning here. He may be playing his future employer. I think Ole Miss is going to drub them. Give me Ole Miss minus the 11.5.
Ole Miss favored by 11.5 against the Florida
I thought
Gators.
about that one.
I did too, actually. It's a big weekend in college football. It's far your final individual selection.
And actually, Joe Dubin texted me and said Alabama played LSU last week. So maybe I missed.
They did, yes. They did.
I misspoke on that, so I apologize. Hopefully that doesn't mess up my thinking there. But I'm going to take the Cowboys minus 3.5 at the Raiders. 3.5 seems low. Maybe they're kind of teasing us a little bit. Cowboys looked bad last week. But I'll take Cowboys minus 3.5 at the Raiders. Raiders stink.
Yeah, they're bad. Cowboys minus 3.5 against the Raiders. So it's a big weekend in college football. You got Texas and Georgia coming up, which I didn't touch that game because, frankly, it's not going well for me picking Georgia games this year. I have no idea what to make of them. I mean, obviously they're good, but then they'll be in a barn burner with like Auburn. You're like, okay, I don't know what's going on out there. Big weekend in college football.
No doubt. And when you think about it I'm with you. I did not want to touch that Texas Georgia game. From the Vanderbilt perspective, you want Georgia, you want Alabama. If Alabama wins, Oklahoma's out. They're done. If Georgia wins, Texas, they could still get in by beating Texas A&M. They could have a case to get in. but you definitely want those two, and you want Pitt, man. If Pitt can pull this off, Notre Dame's out. Get out. Notre Dame is totally out. I don't care what people say. I see that they still would be some decent percentage of them to get in with 3 losses. No way, man. No way. They are out if they lose this game.
Got a big weekend of football coming up. We'll take your thoughts. 615-737-1025. The Preds in action in Sweden today. We will get into all that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Final segment of the day, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. 615-737-1025. Do I get bonus points in the competition for picking Tennessee Tech?
You should.
In the Western MTSU game? Taking some local football around here, man. That's what we're doing.
You don't, but good job.
Oh, thanks.
If you're correct, you get the points. No, I actually like both picks though.
Thank you for laying that out for me.
No problem. MTSU struggling, man. Struggle bus. And that'll be very interesting with Tennessee Tech. Be very interesting. Kentucky has actually quietly become a pretty decent football team. I mean, you look at some of the games they could have won. Like they had Ole Miss beat. They had Texas beat. It could be a very different kind of season. And of course, they come on into this town in a week to be the next team to try to ruin Vanderbilt's party.
Hey, what's made you more mad today? The different clips we've played of you expressing your love for Mason Rudolph as a backup quarterback, or all these people who apparently just despise Memorial Gym?
Memorial Gym, by far, it's insane. You people are, go. I can't do it, man. I can't even deal with it. I don't know what to say. I'll probably say something too mean. That's ridiculous. We need to preserve these places. It's not just an old place. It is a historic place. It's an amazing place. It needs to be freshened up. It needs to be fixed up, no doubt. They're doing a lot of other stuff around it there, like the basketball buildings for the teams are amazing. They're doing all that stuff. Yeah, fix it up for sure, but never, ever think about building a new basketball arena. Ridiculous. As far as you guys, it's fine. If you guys want to gang up on me, fine. Ian hasn't played. I know that there's me walking it back and saying, okay, how about top 10?
We're still looking for it.
That today. Oh,
I haven't found it.
I have not found it.
I did not find it.
You can find Stilly talking about Cardell Jones being the best quarterback in the Bills quarterback room from 8 years ago, but you can't find this.
I'm not sure you said that.
I find that hard to believe.
Not sure you said it.
I think we had a rant last year where we replayed that so I could yell at Stilly. I'm pretty sure we did.
I particularly enjoyed the Drake May one. That was fun. Even though if I was not genuine at all in my discussion about it, I still enjoyed it.
Yeah. Hey, I stand by it. If we go back in time to the first game of the 2024 season, I'll take Mason Rudolph over Drake May for one game. I will right now.
Good.
Give it to me.
Good stuff.
Put me in the time machine. Put me in the DeLorean. Okay, Dr. Brown, let's go. Mason, you're starting. Drake, stand there and take some notes.
All right, let's play a game. The Preds are about to play in Sweden today at 1 o'clock. By the way, pregame at 12 o'clock here on 102.5 The Game. They play again on Sunday morning in Sweden. Both games against Pittsburgh. Joe, how many games do the Predators win? 0, 1, or 2 in Sweden?
I'll give them 1.
Okay, one win.
I'll give them 1.
Ian Safar, what we got? 0, 1, or 2?
OT loss. 1 point.
Okay.
In both games.
So 0, but they do
So
pick up a point.
Yeah.
I'm going 0, too. I don't think they're going to win either game. Which would then put them at 7 losses in a row of, some of them being of the OT variety. But if they don't win at all in Sweden, is Andrew Brunette still the head coach this time next week of the Nashville Predators? It's going to be very interesting to see.
Yeah. And I would say that in traditional NHL terms, I would bet no. But if you make me give an answer right now, I'm going to say even in that scenario, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'd probably lean that way too. Although, as I've pointed out earlier this week, if you're going to make a coaching change, if that's on your radar at all, the schedule sets up for this being a pretty good time to do it when they come back from Sweden. So we'll see. We'll see, number one, can they win any games and stave off this conversation? And if they don't, do the Predators actually want to act at that point? We'll see what happens. Joe, if you're a Vanderbilt fan this weekend, you're not playing football. You got Kentucky coming up next week. And then in a couple weeks, a showdown with Tennessee at Neyland Stadium. What are you looking at this weekend if you're Vanderbilt as far as the college football playoff picture is concerned? We know if you're a Vanderbilt fan, you need to be a big Pittsburgh Panthers fan this weekend. Just go ahead and knock Notre Dame right out of the discussion. What else are we looking at this week?
Yeah, exactly. You want Notre Dame out, so go Pittsburgh for the upset. Like I said, you want the favored SEC teams. Alabama home against Oklahoma and Georgia home against Texas. Those are huge games for you. Get yourself in a better spot than those teams. Look at Utah. Utah's at Baylor. Utah is a spot ahead of Vanderbilt. I think with the ACC and the Big 12, again, you just basically want just as few bids going to those other leagues as possible. So if Baylor could pull that upset, that would be good. You want USC playing Iowa. That's actually a sneaky, interesting game for the Big Ten. That's pretty good. You want Iowa. If Iowa wins, USC's out. You don't want the Big Ten to get a fourth team. I don't think Northwestern has a real shot at home against Michigan. Although Michigan's not very good. That's the big noon Fox game. So if Northwestern wins that, there's another Big Ten team that has no shot at the playoff. Those are the ones that really come to mind.
Those are the big ones for sure.
Yeah, those are the big ones, And again, like they don't all have to go Vanderbilt's way. It's like almost all the stuff has to go against them for a 10-2 Vanderbilt to not be in. But if a few of those things I just mentioned happen, we might get to the point where we know heading into the Knoxville game, if Vanderbilt beats Kentucky, that a win puts them in.
I'll tell you, if you want to get another crazy one, if you want to stay up real late, if you're a Vanderbilt fan, watch the see if the Horned Frogs can take down BYU. The nice 9:15 kickoff on Saturday night. Get you a little late night football watching if you're a Vandy fan.
Oh, and that is a good point, by the way. BYU, I think if they get one more loss, they're toast. They got crushed by Texas Tech. So basically, you'd like the Big 12 to beat Texas Tech and only Texas Tech, which is possible. And if that's the case, then, and the ACC might just get one. I mean, the SEC, if Notre Dame's out too, the SEC is like freaking lock almost for 6 bids.
Yeah, I mean,
which a lot of people around the country
go over
really excited about.
Sure people will really enjoy that.
Yeah. But it'll be justified whether people like it or not.
Greg Sankey will be insufferable at that point. I guess then an SEC team would probably need to go on and win, right? Like probably need to win the championship. But if that happens and they get that many teams in the playoffs, he will be very proud of himself.
Yeah, after what happened in hoops last year, he might buy himself some fancier ties. Who knows? Be a little flashier.
He might.
Got some great neckties.
He might. We'll see if the Titans can hang in there against the Texans this weekend. We will have you covered on Monday morning for a busy weekend on the football front. Again, the Predators in Sweden will have your pregame starting at 12 o'clock today here on 102.5 The Game. Puck drop coming up at 1 o'clock. Hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. That's going to do it for us today here on the program. Next Man Up with Jake Lyman and Connor Newt is coming up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.
I'm absolutely going Mason Rudolph over Drake May.